Bulk inventory will make you feel rich right before it leaves you broke. And this is somebody that buys product by bulk, by pallet on a consistent basis. I fill my warehouse with over 500 products, and I'm here to share with you the dark side of buying bulk inventory. And I want to share with you guys some things to avoid when you're buying bulk, and also why you may not really necessarily want to buy in bulk, only if you are not utilizing a strategy. Because people think the more money I have, the more money I make. Not true. Some people think the more products I have, the more money I will bring in. Also not true. Trust me, I've learned. I've owned 4 phone stores. I've messed up plenty of times, especially having products in a warehouse with a leaking roof and having every single product damaged while on a trip overseas. Trust me, I got a lot of pain, a lot of lessons to teach you guys and show you so you could avoid this from happening to you. Make sure you guys like the video, comment below if you guys buy product by bulk. Let's get into the video. First problem is going to always be the ego trap, right? So I'll bring you guys into the way I used to think about it, which was the more products I have, the more products people walk in and see. You know, when I first opened my first store, I wanted it to be a store like a Walmart, a store like a Target, or just like a small poppy store. You know how those corner stores have all the products on the wall and they're randomized? I wanted it to be like that, but I wanted it to be organized. So I made sure my store was organized and I had a bunch of products on the wall. I spent over $5,000 on products, and I only had, I think at the time, like $30,000 to put into the business. Now, I thought the more products I had, the more options, the more customers would be satisfied, the more profit I would get. And it turned out not to be that way. See, what you end up finding out is that your money will become tied up. You'll start to overanalyze and start really believing that your profit margins could be lower than what they should be. You start skipping over your inventory management, and you actually start losing money the more products you actually get without having a system and also already feeling or seeing success. Let me make this clear. I should never have started a phone store without selling correctly online. So before I had any of my stores, I had a website, and I would promote that website. That website would do okay, but I wasn't bringing enough money to supplement for rent. So why did I start a phone store? Well, it was because I thought that if I had more inventory in front of customers, they would buy off of impulse. That's not always true. If you have a large sum of money to start a business, it's better to, instead of just buying products, figure out a system, buy some products, make sure that those products with that system that you're pairing it with are actually selling, and then amplify it 1x at a time. Do not try to just start out with a bunch of products, because you're just going to go and get overwhelmed, and most importantly, lose money. Next, I'm going to talk about the cash flow freeze. Now, this is when you are investing into a product or products and you're spending all of your money. Now, a lot of us probably have done this. We took some money off of a check and we put it into a product, but we put all of the money into that product. Now, if you are buying products that are assorted, that are trending, it's a little bit different. Like how we have the resellers kit where we're selling multiple trending products. That's different than you literally just going and buying one of 3,000 trending products and buying 300 of them. So I'll give you an example. If you're going in and you're trying to buy AirPod Gen 2s, right? And you buy this AirPod Gen 2s and you buy 50 of them, you're freezing your cash completely. You have no way of restocking until those are sold. You have no way of buying any other products. And most importantly, it's sort of kind of like your money is placed on hold. See, this is what we call being liquid and also having money in assets. I have to always make sure that I'm liquid in some way, because if I put all of my money into products, there's no way that I can buy that new product that may be trending. So it's important that, yes, you do spend money on products, just don't spend all of your cash on products thinking that it's just all gonna come back. This isn't stocks. This is something where you have to actually work sometimes to make the product sell. Wait for the customers to get and see the product. And number 3, Also, wait for your deposits. Wait for the money to show up in your account. So don't just sit there and spend a bunch of money or all of your money on products. Make sure you're getting assorted products that will show you different varieties. Learn from the products that are actually selling fast, the products that are selling mid, and the products that aren't selling at all. And then you have a lot of data now to reinvest and also make sure you are putting your money into the products that have shown you that they're working. Next, trends change fast. I mean, this is something that I try to avoid. That's why I didn't get into clothing, because clothing changes so frequent, and I felt like that would be something I couldn't stay up with. I couldn't keep up with. I couldn't fathom me having to change different clothing in my website every season, right? Well, with electronics, it's a little slower and a little different, but it definitely still does really change, right? Thinking about it like this, the Labubus were selling like hotcakes in October and November and December. Now they still sell, but a little slower, right? Think about it like the AirPod reps. The AirPod reps were booming 4 years ago. Now, yes, they're still selling, but it's slowed down. There are different trends. The e-bikes, e-scooters, we've been selling those as well. And guess what? They're dying down. So if I spent $5,000 on each bike, selling each bike for probably $6,500, if I do that and I overspend on that and the trend changes, now I have to lower my pricing. And that's where it gets a little frustrating, when you overextend or invest into a trending product and then the trend dies. And this is something that happened to me a few times, okay? It has happened to me with fidget spinners. It has happened with me with Bluetooth speakers. It has happened with me with power adapter. At one point, it was like a solar power adapter, and everyone wanted these solar power adapters, this light up case. You know, back in the day, it was a case that lit up so you could take selfies. And we were getting these cases probably for like $6 each. We were selling them outside of zoos and events and online for like $25. We made a really good amount of money, so I said, well, I'm about to put double in, and I did. And guess what? I never recouped my investment. I actually had to try and liquidate those products, and I tried and did not succeed liquidating all of them. So I'm still sitting on that inventory. That sucks, but at the same time, that is just something I can bundle or give away at a store opening or a grand opening or a store event. Again, you want to make sure that you are realizing trends do stop, and most products that you buy, you want them to be products that are actually problem solvers instead of trending products, okay? A problem solving product will always stay relevant. A trending product does die down. Now, it may build back up momentum, but you just don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket with trending products. You want to give yourself flexibility because you don't want to get stuck with inventory with no way to liquidate it for your profit. Next, let's talk about storage and mental panic. Pressure, stress. Okay, so a lot of people don't even think about this, but when you are buying in bulk and not doing your research, not strategizing, not knowing exactly if the products you're buying will sell, this is where you could actually start losing yourself. Number one, I had a guy, he was trying to get me to buy mattresses wholesale. I said I didn't want to, but he, I guess, wanted to show me that it could be done. So what he did was he brought a bunch of these mattresses, and his goal was to sell them on eBay and Facebook. Now, the problem he was having was he brought about 100 mattresses and only like 25 fit in his basement. So he actually had to rent a storage unit. He had to put the mattresses in the storage unit. This cost him not only more money, but also stressed him out. Then weeks later, he was selling them and they were selling slow. So he started to price them differently. He started to bundle them. And see, this is where the mental game comes into play. Sometimes when we are overbuying and we are not really thinking or looking at things in a logistic manner, we start to get hit hard. And when we get hard, we don't know how to handle that stress. Some people go into panic mode and they'll start pricing products differently. They'll start offering deals and just trying to liquidate because they want to erase the mistake they've made. Now, this happened to me in COVID, and I told you guys this story before when, I brought a bunch of speakers, the karaoke speakers, because everybody was in the house, and I thought everybody was going to flock to me to do the karaoke, buy the karaoke speakers. Quarantine radio was going on at the time, and yes, I was selling a good amount of speakers, but then I had to close my store because Trump started giving out stimulus packets, and when he started doing that, I didn't have any employees. And I still to this day probably have like 3 more of those speakers, but I brought like 500 and I sat on them for like 2 years. And I started panicking. I started pricing them less and less. And then as I priced them less and less, they also lost their value to the customer. So again, you want to make sure you have storage for these products. And you also want to make sure that you're not overbuying quantity wise to where you start trying to just sell as many as you can just to reclaim that storage space and relieve that stress. Okay, so we talked about a bunch of the issues and some things that I've learned, but I want to actually talk about a strategy. I want to give you guys a strategy that I've started out with. The strategy I give my students to start out with is something that we see success with. This is very simple. All you do, step 1, is you want to make sure you're buying 5 to 10 units or buying some type of kit that has like 30 to 50 or even 60 products, but these need to be different random products. If you're buying a singular product, 5 to 10. Now, the reason you want to buy a singular product under the 15 to 20 mark is because when you're buying low quantity of one type of item, you're giving yourself a low risk management move. And this is what I mean. Sometimes we buy products because we like them. Sometimes we buy products because they seem to be selling, but we don't actually know if that's what our target market wants. And you may be looking at me and like, I don't have a target market. Well, you actually do. No matter what, when you start selling, you're going to resonate with a certain type of person. Now, I don't know what your avatar is, and an avatar is basically the picture perfect person that buys from you, right? But one thing I will say is that you're going to have to realize that buying low sometimes is it's very likely going to result in you placing more orders, maybe slowing down production, but not losing as much money. Now, one thing I will say is when you're buying multiple products, at least make sure you're not over stacking up on quantities of one type of item. Try to get items that are sporadic, because then you're able to test a bunch of products all at once. And then the more products you have to test on a low quantity basis, the better chance you have to find that product that is going to be the product that sells for you fastest, okay? Now, if you're somebody that wants to sell or buy products to flip fast, I would say buy small quantities of more product. If you're somebody that wants to just try and resell and see if this is something for you, buy one product at low quantities, okay? And what you want to do is then look at the metrics. So take 7 to 14 days to look at the performance of these products. You want to highlight the products that are actually performing, and you want to also highlight the products that aren't performing. In the mid-tier products, you want to let them do what they do, because that will tell you a whole different story. You want to look at the products that are really succeeding with you in your store, because those are the products you need to focus on and reinvest in. You don't want to invest in products that are selling mid or selling a little slow just yet, because the main thing we are looking for when starting reselling and buying inventory is we're looking for profit. And usually your work ethic will increase when you are making more profit, or at least seeing some profit. That's why we want to highlight and actually inspect what we expect with the most selling or the highest selling product. All right, guys, so I'm going to break down more systems and more videos coming out this week and next week. Make sure you guys subscribe. Also, if you guys have any questions or want me to cover something else, comment below. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a like. It helps me and my video get in the algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.